You and I are going wine shopping together. You can find a sensational bottle of wine for criminally low prices. Let's get started exploring and tasting new wines together. It's a fresh week, which calls for a fresh, brand spanking new episode of BYOB, where I pick out an affordable bottle of wine to share with you that drinks way above its price point. We're gonna learn all about this wine, where it comes from, so that when you next share this bottle, you're gonna sound like a pro. This week, we're traveling back to Italy, the land of 1,000 grapes, quite literally, which means there's always a cool new Italian wine grape for you to discover, explore, and of course, drink the beautiful wines that it makes. And this week, that juicy little red grape is Barbera. The area of Italy that we're honing in on is in the northwest corner of the country, in the foothills of the Alps, a region called Piemonte, or Piedmont, and this is the home of Barbera. It is the third most planted red grape in all of Italy, after Sangiovese and Montepulciano. Barbera has been known to have been planted in Piemonte as far back as the 7th century, and is considered the principal grape of the region, though perhaps not its most famous. That honor does go to the red grape Nebbiolo. This is the grape that makes the very legendary, very delicious, and very age-worthy wines from Barolo and Barbaresco. These wines, though, require quite a bit of time, decades, before they reach drinkability, whereas Barbera is meant to be drunk young. It is fresh, it is approachable, a lovely everyday wine, a wine of the people. And the cost of Barbera is amazing. Certainly a lot more approachable than those pricey Barolos and Barbarescos. So this is the red wine that you'd be drinking quite a bit if you live in Piemonte, and one that you should be drinking quite a bit more of regardless of where you live. You'll find a lot of other areas of Italy, they're blending many different grapes, whereas in Piemonte, they're focusing on single varietal wines. And that's partly because of Piemonte's proximity to France in its north, specifically the region of Burgundy, where they also make beautiful single varietal wines. Barbera has deeply pigmented skins, which typically makes a deeply pigmented wine, though you'll find these wines are not heavy, they're very fresh and light. The very best Barbera grapes that make the best wines are well pruned because this grape can be very, very vigorous and capable of high yields. This particular Barbera is coming from a sub-region of Piemonte called Asti. This may sound a little familiar. You may have tried the spumanti sweeter wine called Moscato d'Asti. You'll find a lot of other cool indigenous Italian grapes grown in Asti like Grignolino, Frisia, and Bonarda. So if you look at the label of this bottle, you'll see it says Barbera d'Asti. So typically, not always, but typically on an Italian wine label, that first word, Barbera, that's the name of the grape, and then de, of, and that last word is the region. So this is Barbera of Asti. So you can be clued in a little bit as to what grape you're drinking and where in the world it's from, where in the world of Italy it's from. So yes, this Barbera is from Asti. I got it at Trader Joe's for the low price of $5.99, which is madness. So I would very much like to taste this Barbera of Asti with you. So this wine is not as deeply pigmented as it can be. As I mentioned before, those skins are deeply pigmented. This is still a really lovely, pale, medium intensity, garnet ruby color. And on the nose, it's such a fun dichotomy of fruit and herbs that I quite like. It's got those red fruit notes that I mentioned before, tart, sour cherry, cranberry, raspberry, red plum. It's got some ripe strawberry notes as well. There's a lovely florality balancing out that fruit, some violets, red roses, some notes of cedar. They do use oak on these wines, but they're typically using older oak that's been used before, so it's not imparting a bunch of vanilla or a bunch of baking spices, but you do get that little hint of cedar, a little bit of orange peel. And then yes, all these lovely dried and fresh herbs, thyme, oregano, some fun notes of balsamic, something kind of pencil-letty and graphite-y in this as well. And an earthiness, a potting soil, that's quite lovely. Because when it's all fruit, that's fun, but it's not particularly interesting to keep revisiting your glass, going in for another sniff. It's fun to start picking out these other little notes. Black pepper, a little spicy. I should drink it, you're right. That's just so yummy. That's so pleasant. Medium plus to high acidity, which, if you know me at all now, the tannins are moderate, they're present, but they're soft. Just providing a lovely backbone to all of those wonderful fruit notes. And it's medium body, it's still just very lifted, very fresh. And then moderate alcohol, they never go crazy high alcohol on these on these wines, 13%, restrained. We don't want anything knocking us over the back of the head. That's what Sambuca's for, right? Something that I love about Italian wines and Italian cuisine, even when they are something very elegant and cerebral and age-worthy like a Barolo Barbaresco, there's still just this beautiful simplicity to it, just like with their cuisine. You just want a few ingredients, but you want the freshest, you want the best. So like this wine, you want a lovely simple meal, but some roasted meats, roasted vegetables. There's a lot of mushrooms in northern Italy and Piemonte. Some mushroom dishes. Throw a little truffle on there as well, some white truffle. That's also from Piemonte. Sure, why not? Throw in the truffle. Let's do it. I think this is also great with simple pasta, the red sauce. This, just smelling this wine brings back so many memories. I love Italian wines. My father is a very big Italian wine drinker, and he likes them simple as well. He loves the, aged Brunellos made from the Sangiovese grape, the Barolos. But so often we'd open bottles like this. My mother would make spaghetti with her bolognese sauce that had porcini mushrooms in it. And my father would open up something like this, and it was just absolutely perfect together. There's acidity in the tomato sauce, beautiful acidity in this wine because it has that acid. It's great with richer dishes that have some more fat and heft to them because it just cuts right through that. So we'd have this lovely spaghetti sauce with this wine. He'd open up something like this, or a Chianti. If you love Chianti, if that's your go-to really nice, simple, approachable red Italian wine, I have a sneaking suspicion that you're going to love a Barbera. But let me know your thoughts. Grab a bottle, it's $6, can't hurt you to try, and I'm telling you, this tastes a lot better than $6. Let me know what you think, and until we open our next bottle together, keep exploring and tasting new wines. Salud.